Welcome to the Real Double Dose Channel broadcast station, focused on the real reels of real life, love, growth, and of course, elevation within all levels. RDDC is exactly the place where anyone can discover more depth, love, light, and clarity within themselves, and elevate from other people's walks of life, conversations, and questions, along with deeper insights. So tune in and be a part of the Double Doses with Lexus T and RDDC.
Welcome, everyone, and this is your girl, Lexus T. Thank you for joining me. Whether I'm up, down, no makeup, filter, just relaxed at the hospital, down for a ride, I'm happy that you're here. So, without all further ado, thank you for tuning in to the Real Double Dose channel. This is your girl, Lexus T, where the talk is real and the vibe is live. And thank you for just being you. I want to say that first of all. And also, thank you for tuning to Stitcher Radio, Spreaker, TuneIn, and so many other things. But, I almost forgot the intro that I used to do because I had it so down for all these years. Welcome back to the Real Double Dose channel. This is your host, Lex, coming at you straight from the heart where the talk is real and the vibe is always live. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, see, I still got it. Okay. Just can't forget where you come from a little bit. But I just want to say thank you for all those, for your loving messages, your caring, your audios of encouragement, your cool vibes of how much things have changed and stuff for you. And I heard some heck versus hell testimonials are coming, so I can't wait to hear those as well. Just to be able to hear you speak or send it in. And it's amazing. We have a wonderful flowing team. But I want to have this particular conversation about an inspiration. Now, there's other things that we're going to talk about, but I had to give this shout out to hashtag JR. Okay, with the big V, I'll just say that. But it's a company that I've been dealing with for over a decade now. And they happen to be a beautiful part of that company. I will not say which company. I require services through them and different stuff. And I've also consulted with some people that are there in the corporation to help build it better. Although this right here is for JR. So JR, if you're listening, I don't know. I did see some of the spikes from all over the world, but I did see some from the Philippines. It's like Quepin or Quepa. I don't want to say it wrong, okay? Because my Colombian, my Spanish, my other Mexicana side of my abuelita, my grandma. So it's like, it's a beautiful name. But I'm assuming it might be in that region, right? And some of my other girls that are over there too. Shout out to you, Isa and Jovaline, and as well as I believe Joanne, yes, also. But I want to say this is for JR. JR, if you're listening, I want to tell you thank you very much. And if you have someone else listening with you, yes, this is the JR. Okay, this is the JR that is a wonderful heart. Now, and I say the clarity of JR because it took a lot for me. Now, during the time we were trying to figure out some things, a discrepancy that happened on the account. It happens to everybody. And, you have certain people that call themselves customer service or try to apply a certain way or try to sound too savvy. Some are just in a roll call to get you out the way. Some are genuinely just tired and frustrated of life. And I know I've serviced that area for a long time in my life before in the past, and I still service it now, but now I'm not. There's different levels to what you have to deal with in customer service or serving the public. And all those who can concur, doesn't matter who it is, it's still the point of it's some things you got to go through. Now, ultimately, my sternness can kind of come off like, hey, boom, boom, boom. I'm very assertive when it comes down to business. It is never towards the person itself unless they have a very raunchy or funky attitude. And I don't try to reflect that. I'm more like, I'll be calm and cool with you. Pero if you start doing that and taking advantage of my kindness, I will gladly, respectfully check you. And that's just what it is, because it's like you still have to serve a purpose regardless of how you're feeling. But in this case, JR took it upon himself to, and I'm giving you the story base, right? Took it upon himself to listen. And we had a lag in the phone, from the lagging or whatever, back from the distance. But it was, he listened to my concerns. He took it very, and like, man, this is a big matter, and it's not because of who I am or, his job. It's just because he had that spirit. You can have the heart, but it's different when you have the spirit. Now, I've come across so many ladies and gentlemen, when it comes down to different places we bump into or we correlate. But it struck me because he gave, most people will tell me, hey, I appreciated that. It's wonderful, blah, blah, blah. And I love that. I don't even know what's happening. God just flows it through me. But in this case, God decided to use the clarity of JR back through him to me. And in the sequence, I just felt, even he got a little spooked out about some water. So that story goes, when we were talking on the phone, I had to level myself back with the spirit of what God put in me. Not the oracle and Lex effect itself is always going to be there. There's no contingencies. God's power working through me like he will in all of us if we allow them to. Different levels, different stages, but still. I remember I just felt the parchment in my throat. I was feeling him. I can absorb that. And it's more than just being a clair, what was the five clairs, clairsentient, clairvoyance, clairaudience, all that stuff, right? It's more than a Hayoka high empath, the highest empath, or any of that. It's the spirit of what God put in me, the essence and the gift of God gave me. And I just pictured him where he was, like literally the whole, if I could give an AI image in my head and give it to them to paint, I'm probably sure, I don't know, I'm most certain it could be 80% on point. But I just pictured him picking up that bottle of water and drinking it and just, refreshing himself, and rejuvenating, his thing, I just felt that he was dealing with so many people, so many things, not to mention his personal life, whatever's going on in his life, the things that could have just happened before then or who was after me. You never know what a person's going through. Um, but I remember he said, "Oh, your sixth sense is really good." Because I was like thirsty, gonna go for that. And I kept saying that. Like I kept seeing it in my mind. God was putting in my spirit, tell him, take a sip of tea. And then I was thinking, what if it's too warm? I don't know. But I was like, take a sip of water, just refresh. Like I want him to quench himself. It was that feeling. That's the seventh sense. I call it JR, if you're listening. God was instilling in me to tell you. Though I think in the refute of the journey, he was basically like, hey, not only did that kind of get me on my rocker a little bit, but that's the first time anybody asked me if I had anything to drink, you know? And he let me know how much he appreciated my spirit and the joy that I put within him. Now, I can't quote word for word, but that's the essence of it, that part. And I was letting him know how much he needs to think about how much he's doing, the ripple effect of that, how you affect other people, you know? And we talk about it a lot, but people don't understand that. Like, if I would have turned up and acted like, oh, this is going on. And I'm like, after the hospital, the almost 10 surgeries back to back, that didn't even happen a year ago, still recovering, still recuperating, still learning how to walk, move, my back and my nerve damage from the surgeries. It's a lot, it's a lot. And life and what God called me for and the platforms that I'm trying to juggle and do respectively, and to speak to all of you and you tuning in, it means so much. Hitting the website means so much. Hitting the blog means so much. And I don't know, but JR's clarity helped me see even more when he told me, you're a very special person. You're a very important person. And I was kind of like, I don't see it from, oh, I'm doing this with the DDC, the RDC, or as Hex versus Hell says, R double DC. I see it like I'm doing what I was purposed to do. Even if someone was to sit $50 million in my pocket, yes, I would be smart and put something aside in investments and do stuff like that. But the thing I want to do most is go out there and literally help the world in the most phenomenal way that I have built in my mind. And hopefully, with some crowdfunding and different things going on, I can make that happen as well. A refuge for people, somewhere we can have fresh crops and be able to make them and eat of our own, a community where people don't have to watch over their back. I know human error comes, but you can just literally look at your neighbor and depend on them to be a healthy, spirited person. Different things of that nature, right? Prison reform in the right way, being able to talk to the loved ones of extensions of who we are behind the walls, not like animals, but getting them unconditioned from being treated like nothing to remembering they are something. Every single person that's going through it right now. But I needed to hear that from JR. And it might go on to the series right now. And I would call it the series of, I guess the journey of experiences. And maybe I'm going backwards in this case, but him saying that to me wasn't a propaganda of him, let me make sure she feels good. Oh, this is never one customer. It wasn't any customer. It was a God feeling, the God feeling of saying, hey, if no one told you today, you are important. If no one told you yesterday or the time before from what you do and what you are and how you give that love, even through me on the phone, when I'm supposed to be customizing you and you're over here trying to see my well-being, I'm taking it from my interpretation of what he shared with me. And JR, okay, if you concur, let me know, sir. But I took the language of, hey, you're giving me all this energy that God's fueling through you to let me know the reflection of. I was him in that feeling, sitting there going through it, right? Don't know if it's hot, just my throat being parched. I needed some water. Just don't know what the next call is going to be, just hoping this one goes smoothly. And as he told me, he wants to make sure he resolves the problem that a person has. Some people say, oh, it's meniscus. It's just a sandwich. If they're at a restaurant, for example, or something, and they shrug it off. And yeah, maybe so that person should take it light. They shouldn't freak out. But like I said, there's things that happen before and after to that point of where you're getting that kind of conveyance. And it's not the fact that they should. A lot of people take it out on customer service because they can't take it out at home or whoever else. But that's a time for you to reset, come within yourself and say, is this person going to go home and hurt themselves or hurt someone else or get in an accident on the way there? And most people say, well, it's not my business, Lex. It's not my. Yeah, it is your business because it's all the business of God. And if we're created, and we are, by the only one and only true God that there is, every person is a reflection of who we are. Whether you say, oh, they do this to kids, they do this or here, they're scumbags. At the end of the day, it's still a reflection. What is your I am in that? What is your illumination in seeing that? Pause for a moment, pump the brakes. And I know some of you can't because it's happening so fast, but it is always a moment of what would Jesus do? It sounds cliche from the past, but it's not. Like, man, what would I do if I was standing in my power and my peace right now? Would I have to turn up like the world wants me to for a video to be on YouTube or TikTok or World Star? No pun intended, no offense. Though JR gave me something back. I felt like we were having a cup of cappuccino or, having something, just like translating each other's language. Have you ever translated someone's language of energy? Sometimes your little personal circles, and I say little personal circles, and I was supposed to have a straight line. They don't understand what that is. A lot of people take that for granted. They pretend that they're listening. They pretend that they care. And genuinely, they do believe that they are, but they're really just scaving by. For me to have to hear that outside of all the things that God has allowed me to do for other people and continue, even through trying to battle for my own life to survival in the human flesh, in hospital, IVs, everything. I mean, you don't even want to know. It was like hacksaw time. I needed to hear you are important. Okay. You're very special. And at first I was like, little girl, hey, you're very special. You had the wonderfulest color, photo you ever did or you painted in school. I was like, oh, it almost made me cry a couple times. I just remember saying, oh, it wasn't for show. It was like, man, I wanted to give him a hug and just say, thank you. Thank you, God, for letting that word come through him and, what he did. Well, what he did for me and my account was definitely headache free. It was amazing. And I do feel bad for the little teeny hiccup I had with sounding very stern, not prudent, but not anal retentive either. But, I sound like that. But I was just kind of like, man, what is all this? My defense was up because I had spent previously a few weeks back on the new I'll just say new Pro 10 phone that got released. I was like 6-7 hours on the phone with some things going on. And it just kind of just triggered from there, but it never was directed towards him or anybody for that matter. But I just want to say a thank you, a very special thank you of how important you are, JR, for all those who need relief and you give it to them and they don't understand how their day could have turned out without it. How special you are to be able to have what you have and want to serve your gift to the fullest, regardless. If you get a pay bump or someone hangs up on you, you do what you do. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah, I see these videos where people go to the restaurants and stand on lettuce and spit in people's drinks and food and do all this disgusting demonic behavior because they feel some type of way or they think it's a special kind of, they don't serve their purpose. They're just sitting there being the scum of the earth while they try to find themselves within no purpose. I commend you and I wish and I hope that one day You can share your story if you have one that you want to share. We got hashtag story 2 blessings, the number 2 blessings, okay? And we got hashtag the Bless Up Challenge. Don't forget to sign up for that. Get yourself rewarded. But I just want to say thank you for being such a contribution to what God has created here. The JR effect. All right, the clarity of JR. And I just believe that if more people would be like you, yes, indeed, the world would be such a beautiful place. If the world was like that, I don't think we have any reasons to have any war or any other shed here. But I just want to put that out. Just remember, everyone, what you give is exactly what is seeded out here. And I had told him all the thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, obviously to the millions at this point, a decade in, or at least 8 million, getting to that point for where we are and more. He's affected everyone that's going to hear and download this message. Whatever it is, it's not about vanity metrics and likes, shares, comments, and all that. It's about resonating. 1 equals 1 million. And the ripple effect affects one, it'll affect many more. But his words will forever stay with me. What I needed at that time, my cup felt running over. And I almost got teary-eyed. My cup felt running over. And yeah, you could want it from those who are, quote, quote, closest to you in physical sense most times, or if you can get there vibrationally. But my cup was so low that I had just a few sips to drink. And I was so deep into what the clarity of JR is, what the feeling of calmness, of the resonance of the spirit, that I was feeling the bottle of clarifying water that he needed to, make sure he wasn't dry and not parched. But in fact, I also was parched. So, JR, you got a chance to share that bottle of water with me. And even though it was all abundantly around me to go get up and get some, I couldn't have the strength. And I didn't have it. God saw from whatever was going on, not just physical, but I didn't have the mental strength to just sip the water in front of me. So what you did, and I see in my spiritual reflection, you grabbed that bottle of water, you drank it, you visualized it, and you poured it right back into a cup that wasn't even halfway full. And because of that, I'm making sure my water stays at least above the halfway line at this point. Because sometimes you don't really realize when you hear people saying, oh, I was driving on E and my car broke down in the middle of nowhere. How could I have not noticed? People say, well, how do you not know you don't have gas? Sometimes things are going by so fast and things are running so crazy. It seems like slow motion, but really it's just forgotten motion. So now I can understand how you forget gas in your car. I can understand how a person forgets to hydrate all day. It's the same essence. Heaven became here on earth. So really, when we're dying in the flesh, it's something that our spirit is saying, and the messengers that are out there, like JR and many others, that we seemingly pass by. It doesn't have to go above and beyond customer service. It's just taking care of the matter and have a good day. You have to see those who are touched by the Spirit to give you the message that you're looking for, even when you're not looking for it to be given. So love, peace, and blessings to you, JR. Blessings to your family. I hope we will talk or meet again, or meet in the future, I guess, in some way, somehow. And thank you for sharing your cup of water with mine that was emptying out. And I pray that I could continue to remind you every time you see a bottle of water, like you said, or if you get thirsty, that you'll have a memory of me in some way. All right. If you want to check out any updates or anything else, you can go over to, I believe it's the Oracle Lexus T. I'm not, like the TikTok, the ads and the handles, okay? But you can go to the Real Double Dose channel or www.realdoubledosechannel.com. Okay, we do have the under lock, but we haven't really put anything out there for the, but it's realdoubledosechannel.com. Check us out. We'll pop up in the search results. As Edward Cullen says on the Twilight movie, you can Google it. All right, everybody. Go check out realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com for updates and different things we have out there as well, and many other conversations coming. I know I've been saying it, but no matter how much the devil tries to hold me back, God has me all the way through, time and time again. And that's all you can depend on. All right. So remember to be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of the spirit. We'll be back with you soon. And thank you for tuning in. And we love you and talk to you again.